cedar like never fucking burns. I don't know if it's just me, but like cedar never fucking burns. I don't know what the deal is. I'm skipping class to film this right now because I felt like getting this out instead of going to a philosophy class. Hey, it's Marin, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to guess someone's zodiac sign based on how they look. As an astrologer, I have been studying the signs and, more importantly, the planets that rule signs for the better part of my whole life now. And throughout that time, every time I meet someone and I notice their sign and what they look like, I've been taking that into inventory, and that, coupled with a really in-depth study of both ancient and modern astrology, has given me plenty of tools and tips and tricks on how to guess someone's zodiac sign, which isn't really like a practical thing. Like, it's not something I go around doing, but it is something that's gotten me known, like at school, like even today, like in college. Like if someone knows me and I'm in class, they're like, that's the weird space girl who can guess everyone's sign. So it makes me like funny or whatever, and I'm pretty good at it. So I thought I would share kind of my tips and tricks so you might be able to impress someone and come off as psychic, even if you're really just using some basic understanding of planetary significations translated into bodily manifestations. So I'll get started by talking about the signs and what planets rule those signs, give some in-depth explanation of the traits and characteristics, and then I'll also incorporate some celebrity examples so that we can draw some clear distinctions between what I mean when I say certain things. And with the examples, I tried to incorporate a very like wide range of genders, ages, just in general, different types of people, so that you'll be able to see how this archetype is not just one face or for one gender and can be translated into plenty of different people of different backgrounds and ages. And in guessing someone's zodiac sign, because we're not just one sign, we're an entire natal chart, often you will be looking at either their sun, their rising, or the ruler of their ascendant, the ruler of their rising sign. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to offer examples of sun and rising, which are big indicators for what someone looks like, but there are other factors that can influence this, and honestly, we are composed of all 12 signs, so it's why like we're not just like one body part, or not why, but like, you know what I mean. So with that, we will get started with the first sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, which gives often Aries natives a reddish or fiery color scheme, even if they have like dark hair or black hair. Brown eyes or dark hair tend to have a ruddy tinge, and if they're blonde, they tend towards strawberry blonde often, or like a more golden undertone. The sign of Aries is associated with the ram, which often has pointy, high-arched eyebrows. Like, that's the trademark Aries thing, in my opinion, is the little sharp eyebrows. Often a strong, sharp chin as well, and well-defined lips that aren't necessarily like large or luscious. I mean, they might be, but not necessarily associated with Aries. Often they're just like prominently defined and have a like vivid Cupid's bow. Aries does rule the head. That's the part of the body that it's associated with. So there's often a focus just on strong facial features or a captivating gaze in general. So some Aries celebrities with the sun in Aries are Emma Watson, Reese Witherspoon, and Robert Downey Jr., which all are really good examples of the vivid, sharp jaw and the pointy eyebrows and like penetrating, decisive gaze. Some Aries rising natives are Rihanna, Penelope Cruz, and James Dean, which are also examples of this kind of like witty, nimble, yet intense looking face. Moving on to Taurus now. So Taurus is ruled by the planet of Venus. And given Venus being a planet of harmony and sensuality, Taurus natives often have really sensual, gentle, softer features. Often they have soft skin, pouty lips, full framed, thick hair, really like supple, healthy looking body in general. There's like a healthy vibrancy to Taurus natives. And they are associated with the sign or the animal of the bull, which gives it even more of like an earthy, enhanced tone to it. They often they have like a cute, smaller upturned nose with little cute, like tiny bull nostrils. Like, it's not like you look at them and you're like, they're a bull, but you know what I mean? Like, you can see like, oh, they have little cute like nostrils. Upturned eyes as well, those like cow like upturned eyes, and a stronger build. Like, they tend towards being like more strong and sturdy built wise. and it rules the neck. So they might have like a thicker upper neck or just broad, like glamorous looking shoulders in general. Some celebrities that are Taurus suns are Adele, Channing Tatum, and Audrey Hepburn, which are really good striking examples of like the healthful grace of Taurus. Some Taurus rising celebrities are Lana Del Rey, Gigi Hadid, and Camila Cabello, which are awesome examples as well of like this healthy, feminine, striking, lusty like nature of Taurus suns. So I also have the text of Vedic Valence's anthologies that I think give some really funny like examples of what the descriptors back in ancient astrology were for the signs. And for Taurus, it just starts with Taurus is feminine, solid. Like that's a good explanation. Full of bones with some limbs missing, which, you know, I don't understand, but you know, oh well. So next we will move on to Gemini, which is a sign ruled by Mercury, one of the two signs ruled by Mercury, and Gemini is one of the easiest for me to spot in general because they have really trademark, small, well-defined features that can be mistaken for Capricorn, but often they are more like pointy and they have an upturned nose often, concise, pouty lips. Like that's the giveaway for me for Gemini is like just like the small, concise, pouty lips. A smaller head and face in general because Mercury tends towards the smaller side. They have notable blinking as well. I swear to God, Geminis are like because they move so quickly and are balancing from idea to idea. Because they are represented by the twins, often they have symmetry to their features and expressive facial features in general that are very dynamic but smaller, and they have a smaller build typically. So it rules the arms and the hands, so often like they speak with their hands or they'll have cute nimble features or well-defined arms as well, could be a signal. So, and in Vedic Valence, he says that those Gemini is male and articulate, and by articulate it means not only like mentally but like physically articulate as well. Some Gemini suns are Helena Bonham Carter, which Harry Potter fans, like, you know, like she is Gemini. Tupac, Octavia Spencer, those are other two examples of like the smaller kind of nimble look of Gemini. Some Gemini risings are Lady Gaga, Amy Winehouse, and Kelly Osbourne, which all give really nice examples of the concise, nimble features of Gemini. So on to Cancer. The sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon, which this is so funny because Cancer, knowing so many Cancers, like most of my close friends are Cancers, I know this sign the best and I can spot and feel a Cancer from like a fucking mile away. There's two big types of Cancer physical variations that I see. So Cancer is ruled by the moon, and its animal or its symbol that it's associated with is the crab. So I find two distinct Cancers that manifest physically. There's the lunar Cancer and there's the crustacean Cancer, which just stay with me. So those that are associated more with the moon look tend to have a rounder face, larger, wider spaced almond eyes, and a fuller face in general with a softer body, and sometimes their color scheme tends to be more neutral or soft as well. And then there's the second type that I tend to see as more crab-like, which have higher cheekbones, smaller eyes, a thinner nose, and a longer but sharper look. They tend to have, instead of a wide and soft look, a like higher and thinner look to their face, and they tend to also have a sharper or more distinct color scheme naturally as well. And since Cancer rules the chest and breast area, often I find that they either have like a really good set of boobs or kind of like none at all. Like either they're kind of, I see both the extremes of really voluptuous or really athletic build, especially in women, or in men too. Like they could tend toward just carrying more fat or substance up in their chest, or they could have a really lean look along with like the crab-like face as well. So I think it's funny because Valens just says, Cancer is calm. Like that's the first line, and that's like the best example because even with the moon or the crab, there's a watery flow to their look. So some Cancer sun celebrities are Ariana Grande and Shane Dawson as the more moon-looking people, and then Tom Hanks and Sandra Oh are awesome examples of the more crab-looking version. And some Cancer risings are Angelina Jolie, who I see as much more lunar, and Cher, who I see as much more crab-like. And I love all of these people that I mentioned here. Like this was I just love Cancers. Like you're my faves. On to Leo. So Leo is ruled by the sun, and if you know a Leo, you know that they are the sun in their life. They are often a orange or yellow golden color scheme, not as ruddy as Aries, much more like golden and illuminated. There's a radiance or glow to their skin, or at least when they're healthy, there's often like a radiance or glow. And being associated with the lion, there's often a square or heart-shaped face with a wider forehead and cat-like eyes. And their eye color tends to be very dense or concentrated too, like a darker intense blue or a dark green. I have plenty of Leo friends as well, and if you look closely into their eyes, there's often like a lot of web of color there to whatever color, either dark or light, that they have. They often have a broader, shorter nose, kind of with the lion theme, like it's not a prominent hooked nose generally, and a thick mane of hair is the deal breaker for me. Even guys, like, even it could be like a Cancer, Mercury, Mars, Venus, like one Leo placement can give the Leo mane, or three of them, like in my case. Also, physically, they tend to be muscular, but not too bulky, but like they have a strong, fertile build. It rules the heart and the cardiovascular system, which doesn't generally make it as much of like a dead giveaway of one body part, but they might have, I've seen with Leo men, prominent veins or a golden, like blood-rich hue overall. So some Leo sun celebrities are Andrew Garfield, J-Lo, and Madonna, who are all just like vibrantly Leonian. And some risings are Marilyn Monroe, Johnny Depp, and Frida Kahlo, which as well have that like lioness presence to them. On to Virgo, which, I have no experience with. I actually have a Virgo sun, but Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury in this case, as opposed to Gemini, I find is more delicate, taller, a bit more like slender and refined looking, with precise features. And it's associated with the Virgin, which I think gives even men sometimes an effeminate shape to the body. Not anything where you would think that they're inherently androgynous, but there often is like a definite shape to any sort of Virgo frame. Because Mercury can be associated with the mind, I wouldn't call Virgo skulls alien shaped, but like, if you were to associate any sign with looking like an alien, I would say Virgo tends to have the more oval yet heart-shaped face of being like a high forehead and wide-shaped eyes that does come across like innately cerebral. Often it can be like a baby doll look as well. Slender yet shapely women and men I find often take place with Virgo, and men particularly I find like tend towards slim if they're Virgo men. It rules the digestive system and intestines, which just aren't as visibly prominent in general as a body type. You don't look at someone's lower stomach and be like, oh, that's Virgo. Valens also says that Virgo is luxurious, standing like her figure of justice, which is a good way to describe Virgo physical essence. Some Virgo celebrities are Jada Pinkett Smith, Rupert Grint, and Beyonce, which despite looking different like age-wise and racially wise, like both Rupert Grint and Beyonce I can see as Virgos. And some Virgo risings are Paul McCartney, Kurt Cobain, and Keanu Reeves. I think Virgo men can be some of the easiest sign-based men to spot just based on like their innately delicate nature. So next we will move on to Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and in this case I find Libra being ruled by Venus less as overtly sensual as Taurus and more like harmonious and symmetrical. So often I find Libras I think because I've had several Libra family members, I find Libras easier to spot than other signs because there's a symmetry to Libra, like oval face, unextreme features. By unextreme, I mean like you look at their face and you're like, everything is proportional. Like there's nothing that is like, ooh, you have a very large chin. Like everything is pretty proportional. They do often have a prominent nose, but it's not like in the way. It's just that you're like, oh, they have like a stronger nose. They often have dimples as well, like it's kind of cute. I have a Libra moon and I have like one dimple, I think. Not too symmetrical, but I have other shit fucking that up. The symmetry though is like what I see trademark. Like they have an easygoing smile too, but the symmetry of their face, often they will wear a middle part, and their whole body as well tends to be pretty symmetrical, though because Libra rules the hips, they often carry weight or have like a thicker lower body from the waist down. And overall, I mean, I wouldn't call every Libran androgynous, but they can like dabble in going through androgynous style or going through like looks that can be more androgynous. For example, Libra is the house of Venus, but it's a masculine sign, which leads toward it being such a harmonious aesthetic sign, but there's still some like strength to it. So some celebrities with a Libra sun are John Krasinski, Bella Thorne, and Lil Mama. And some risings are Beyonce, Britney Spears, and Venus Williams, which all have that strong yet delicate Venusian Librality. That's not a word. We'll move on. So on to Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Mars, which gives it, instead of like an Aries, a more forthright, ruddy theme. Scorpio is more penetrating and intense with its gaze. Often larger eyes that have a darker, they tend to be darker colored, even if they're blue, they tend to be like darker. They can be an intense blue, and I also find that Scorpio placements with brown eyes often can tend towards more golden or orangey with their brown. I find the Scorpio nose can be downturned, even if it's not necessarily a hook, there's like a slight downturned nature. Prominent cheekbones and a darker hue with a paler complexion tends to be the color scheme. Even if they're darker skinned, it has like a grayer tinge to it. It's more like electric. Scorpio rules the genitals, so like you're not gonna go out and be like, I can tell you're a Scorpio. So there's not as much to go off of like day to day with, you know, pointing that out. But some Scorpio celebrities are, with their sun in Scorpio, are Drake, Caitlyn Jenner, and Anne Hathaway. And some risings are Nicole Kidman, Charlie Chaplin, and Eva Longoria. So on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is a planet that represents expansion in general. So Sagittarius energy tends to be expressive and expansive. Welcoming, jolly features, just like super vibrantly welcoming, and unruly hair or like a wilder, more explorative look overall. Also, because Sagittarius is associated with the centaur and like the horse, I find that their smile tends to be really big on their face, and they have larger mouth or larger teeth. Often they show more gums above their teeth than like just 50-50 average person. Not a total giveaway, but sometimes you can spot that. The body tends to be stronger and sturdy, with a tendency to have a grounded lower body build, because Sagittarius does correspond with the thighs and the glute area. So they often have well-formed muscles or like weight to be carried in the thighs or glutes. Some celebrities with Sag suns are Nicki Minaj, Sarah Silverman, and Bruce Lee. And some risings are Oprah, Scarlett Johansson, and Eminem. Now on to Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is a planet of limitation and boundary, and you can generally see that with Capricorn. Capricorns are also a sign that I find pretty vivid to spot, maybe because I'm a Capricorn rising and I have a lot of Capricorn rising friends as well, but they tend to have a bony, sharper face and body structure. Like, I know even as like a fat baby, my bones kind of showed, like I had just like a bony, wiry nature to me. A smaller, thinner build, like shorter, smaller, is characteristic of Capricorns, and a smaller head or face in general. Often they have a deep set, serious gaze, like their eyes are just further inside their head, and because they're associated with the sea goat, they often have like a straight posture or like deliberate, cautious movement. So even if their body isn't a giveaway, like the way that they move is very cautious. And since Capricorn rules the knees and the bones overall, not only can they be bony even if they are more full weight, they tend to have knobby knees. Like every Capricorn I know, like I can notice their knees. Even for me, like I don't have knee problems, but sometimes my knees get lightheaded. Like I have to be like, knees, it's okay. Maybe it's just me and I'm weird. Prominent smile as well, because they do rule the bones. Like their smile isn't big, but like it's kind of like, it's flashy. Like it's cute. So even though Scorpio is associated with being like intense, actually Valens in his anthology says that Capricorn is brutal, lurking, and mysterious. So I find Scorpio is more like hiding in the corner, I don't give a fuck, and Capricorn is like the presence where you're like, ooh, they're mysterious. So a little something to think of in comparing the two. So some celebrities with a Cap sun are Michelle Obama, Jude Law, Ryan Seacrest, and some Capricorn risings are Zooey Deschanel, Megan Fox, and Kylie Jenner. So on to Aquarius, which is also ruled by Saturn, but while Capricorn is kind of like boundaries down Saturn, Aquarius is boundaries to build up kind of Saturn. So I find Aquarians probably the easiest to tell, honestly, because they often have a like really sharp, wide set jaw. Like a spacious structure in general of the way, like they often have like wide shoulders, like because they're Saturn, there's a boniness still, but they're more like substantial than Capricorn generally. The wide prominent jaw and more small close together eyes on a larger head for me is always a dead giveaway. Because the larger head in general with like the smaller, more cool toned eyes, like even brown or dark eyes tend to have a cooler tone, I find really a dead giveaway. And overall, like no matter what tone of skin they have, it tends to be on the cooler side or like paler even for darker tones. So because Aquarius is associated with the water bearer, it just adds to the tall, substantial quality. Like I have plenty of Aquarius friends that are like fucking noodles, honestly. And since it rules the ankles, I mean, I don't really go around checking people's ankles, but there can be like a strength to the ankle, or like the ankle can be more strong. Some celebrities with Aquarius sun are Taylor Lautner, Bonnie Wright. I had to keep so many Harry Potters in here. And The Weeknd. And some Aquarius risings are Russell Crowe, David Bowie, and Nicki Minaj. So finally on to the last sign of Pisces, which being ruled by Jupiter here tends to indicate expansive, watery features. So there's like a delicacy yet a flow to the features, deeper watery eyes. I don't find that Pisces eyes are like too large, but they tend to be like just there's a depth to even the smallness. And there's often a longer, more strung out lower face. Because they're associated with the fish, there can be like a shape with a flow to it of their body. They don't tend to be bony. I find that they do tend to carry weight to soften out. Even a smaller body shape will have a softness to it. And because it rules the feet, I cannot tell you how many times a Pisces sun or rising has either had really small or like big flipper feet or something notable like big bunions or like a long pinky or some shit. So some celebrities that have Pisces suns are Jessica Biel, Daniel Craig, and Einstein. And some Pisces risings are Whitney Houston, Billie Eilish, and Gwyneth Paltrow. So if you found that any of these were like, yeah, I've noticed that too, or you were surprised or have any comments about picking signs out in general or your abilities and your experience doing it, let me know below. Let me know if there's other things that you've noticed about signs that aren't necessarily like from the texts that I read or from my experience. I would love to hear that too. I do offer private astrology consultations down below and would love to read for you. I also do monthly and weekly forecasts for your sign and for the collective tarot too, so check those out. Otherwise, like, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you next time.